Hey guys, Shannon Robnett with the Robnett Real Estate Rundown. I just wanted to kind of talk to you today about some facts that are flying around in the media and how they correlate and what they really mean, and how you should probably be extrapolating a little bit, reading between the lines a little bit, using some common sense a lot, and holding the media accountable. I'm not going to get into what the virus is or isn't doing. That's way beyond my pay grade. But what I can tell you is that there are 325 million Americans. Census has been delayed, so we're going to have to wait on that number getting updated. But 325 million Americans out there. And we lost 3.3 million jobs in a week, which put us above our 3.6% unemployment from the previous week by about 1%. So now we have a 4.5% unemployment rate in the United States. And let's just say that in a normal economy, we have a 5 to 7% unemployment rate. We are still well within the bounds of a normal economy. We're hearing everybody scream about landlords losing everything, about tenants losing everything. And it's just not true, guys. It's absolutely not true. We have been, our property management company has been very proactive with our tenants, trying to reach out to them, let them know that we are willing to work with them. And I think just about everybody is. But let's just break some numbers down, guys, and let's talk about this. So if we lost 3.3 million jobs last week, the statistic says that 35% of Americans rent, okay? So we're going to assume that that 35% that is renting was currently employed, and if we assume that 100% of the people that lost their jobs were tenants, that means that 3.3 million of 100 million tenants lost their job. And that's not counting who is married, you know. That just says that 100 million people were tenants 2 weeks ago. 3 million of them, if we say that all of them were tenants, that means that 3 million lost their jobs. That means that 3 million are going to struggle to pay their rent. And that is not saying that that is not a large number. But it's 3% of the tenancy nationwide in an environment where we are less than 3% in Idaho for vacancy. We are less than 5% nationwide for vacancy. And we are in unhealthy areas as far as extremely low vacancy. And when I say unhealthy, it's great for landlords, but it's difficult for tenants because rents continue to rise. So what I'm telling you guys is, if you get a hold of the facts and you really just kind of step back for a minute and look at it and go, let's just say that those 3.3 million people are going to be unemployed for the full duration of the coronavirus because they lost their jobs due to a sudden, unprecedented health crisis. And those jobs will come back at, let's say, 50% of the speed that it took to lose them. So if they're out of work for one whole month and it takes another 2 months for that to come back, that means that in 3 months, everybody that lost their job will be back at work. And of those 3 million people, if all of them are tenants and all of them are willing to work on it, we don't seem to have an enormous crisis that the media is trying to put out there. So we have 3 million people that need to contact their property management company, contact the owner of the place that they're renting. And I can tell you this, guys. Here's another fun fact. In an apartment or a house, it costs about 1 month's rent to turn the place over. So to go in, freshen up the paint, clean up after maybe a dog that was there. Maybe the next person doesn't want to have a dog. To the loss of revenue for the landlord, all things considered, it costs about 1 month's rent. So if we can just agree that for example, for this example, we're talking about $1,000 in rent, the landlord's going to lose $1,000 to a move out. If the landlord is approached by the tenant, and or in our case, we've been proactive, we've approached our tenants and we've asked them, is there anything we can do? Is there anything that you're having difficulty with that we can help with? And if you have these things happen to you, we would be more than happy to help you work through this. So when we look at that and we say, let's just say that all 3 million approach their landlord, and the landlord has two choices. I need you guys to understand this. The landlord can evict them after the moratoriums are up and all these things. But let me just ask you, would he? If somebody's been there and has been a good tenant for years, and why would the landlord evict them? There are cases where rents have gone up, and the landlord wants to raise the rent, and if he gets the tenant out, he can. I understand those situations. We're going to just, for the sake of argument, say that that's not the majority, okay? Your brother's sister's friend that lived down the street next door to you when you were a small kid has a story. I get that. This isn't them, and that's never, ever the majority. So when you really look at what's gone on in our nation, there has been 3.3 million people in 1 week lose their job that is an unprecedented medical emergency, okay? Those 3.3 people, if they are all tenants and they all walk out, landlords will go from a 3.5 nationwide, between a 3.5 and a 4% vacancy, to a 6%, 7% vacancy, which again is still not catastrophic. It will stall rents growth for a while. It will stall move-in, move-outs for a while. We may need to have to offer some concessions to get the people back in. But I can tell you right now, most landlords don't want the tenant gone if the tenant is willing to work on it. And most landlords will survive a 7% vacancy because most deals have been stress tested by the bank to a minimum of 5 and up to a 10% vacancy. So these are not catastrophic things, guys. When you're hearing that this is horrible, that it's catastrophic for landlords, it will be a bump. It will be difficult. There will be some deals coming back in the market. But everybody's screaming that the market's going to plummet. I absolutely ask you to ask them, where are your facts? Because if you look at the overall, you look at the demand that's sitting in the market now, you look at what is going on out there, there is no basis for this, guys. There is no reason for this to be so overblown, for you guys to get so worked up about landlords losing everything. Take a minute, boil down the facts, look at it before you join the crowd and become part of the chorus, guys. And let's do some math. You all did math to analyze your deals getting in. Let's do some math on what the stats really mean moving forward. Guys, I want to thank you for your time here on the Robnett Real Estate Rundown. I look forward to talking with you again soon. Enjoy the rest of your time and enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you.